listening to DC Comics Rush Hour, a podcast for DC Comics fans by me, a DC Comics fan. Good morning, this is John Paul from the Old Titans, giving you your daily dose of DC goodness. I should have found another D word there. Anyway, I didn't. Anyway, thank you for joining me on my ride this morning. Rush hour is just kicking off for me. Hopefully it's going to be a nice and wonderful one. It's Friday morning and the sun is shining. It's a little chilly outside, 57 degrees in Florida, which I know 57 for a lot of people would be wonderful right now, probably. Here though, in Florida, wow, it feels cold. So I'm wearing my new Nightwing jacket that I got from Hot Topic. No sponsorship involved, just giving them some free advertising there. They got some cool jackets, actually. Flash, Arrow, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Nightwing. It's a bunch of them. And all the ones I've seen have been really, really cool. And they got those Marvel things too, but don't care about those. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about Legends of Tomorrow from this week, episode 3. So, Zari, we finally get Almighty Isis. I was very proud of the fact that DC and the CW and the whole production crew added in this character. Now, what I don't know is whether they'll ever actually call her Isis or even refer to the amulet as the Amulet of Isis or anything like that. She got the amulet in the episode. I should say, spoiler alert. I'll spoil stuff for the episode. She got the amulet. It looks like, the amulet. It has, powers and such. But then they refer to it also as a totem. Vixen refers to it as a totem like hers. So I'm not sure if they will ever actually mention Isis or not. Part of me hopes that they do. Part of me hopes that they don't. I just don't really know. Wow, I just saw a big giant truck decide he didn't want to wait and just ran a red light for no reason other than he just didn't feel like staying there. Okay, well, that was interesting. If I'd been closer, I could have called out the license plate number. We had a record of that. Wasn't close enough. Okay, so this episode deals with the return of, and I'm going to blank her name, Vixen's villain who controls water that was revived at the end of the last episode. So she is hunting down, we're in the year 2042. Somehow she's a time traveler. We don't know how. We're guessing this is going to deal with Wallace, which I'm going to still say is going to turn out to be the time traveler. That's what I'm hoping. But since it's involving the Time Bureau and all that, the big bad for them, time travel's probably involved there, and that's probably how she becomes a time traveler. Anyway, so the bad guy is shown up in 2042, hunting down Zari. We don't know why, we don't know anything about her, as far as why the bad guy would want her, other than she's hunting her down. At the beginning of it, we discovered that at least the city they're in, don't know if the whole world, but at least the city they're in, sounds like at least the country, has some new rules. Metahumans are now outlawed, and Argus has created a military state, police state, which, for a covert organization, they even make the joke. They've forgotten what covert means. They're definitely not covert anymore. But Water Lady takes out a truck, the 2 Argus agents in it, ready to grab their prisoner, and the prisoner uses the opportunity to escape. Turns out she's had quite a long record of stealing this and stealing that and doing different things, so escaping from handcuffs, probably not the hardest thing she's ever done. Alright, so meanwhile, back on our ship, back on the Wave Rider. We got 2 different things going on. One, they pick up a distress signal because, as it turns out, during this whole crash and killing the Argus agents and Zari escaping and such, our favorite one of the Time Bureau, Gary. Gary was there. He had been sent to investigate, stop, fix, whatever. But Gary was there and sends out a distress signal for help. Well, our valiant crew intercepts that signal, and they decide they will go help. So, yay. First, good for Sarah, remembering that they're heroes. You gotta have Mick in there going, why do we do that? But that works. Yeah, it works fine. So they're gonna go help. Meanwhile, we have the issue that was brought up last time with Amaya's totem being out of control, her being scared to use it because the animal taking over. Turns out she's even sleepwalking or sleep wall and ceiling walking as a spider, which is kind of creepy, especially if you don't like spiders. By the way, that's me. You can't see me, but I raised my hand on for one of those that doesn't like spiders. So they decide they will investigate. So you have the professor and Amaya and Nate. They're going to be investigating and trying to help Amaya. The others are going to try to help Gary. So there's our split up. There's our two different storylines that are going on, which will eventually cross over and dovetail together. They do find Gary. He kind of gets up to speed on what's going on, and he's kind of horrified that they want to help. He doesn't have a problem with them sort of saving him, but he's not too thrilled with the fact that they want to try to help because they screw everything up. And they've definitely carried that concept to an extreme because they don't screw everything up. But from Rip's point of view, they do. And Rip has trained everybody in the Time Bureau and has only shown them and trained them on the stuff that the crew did mess up. There's plenty of stuff they did, just fine. So, that's fine. It works. And Gary, I gotta say, Gary is my favorite one in the Time Bureau. I hope they bring Gary back all the time. Not as a regular on the crew, but just as that kind of recurring character. Favorite Gary moment, at least in the story, maybe my favorite moment in the whole episode, but definitely favorite Gary moment, is when they bring Zari on the Wave Rider to save her. And they're all walking in. She's looking around, looking at all the machinery, thinking, this is so cool. And Gary walks in, discovers it, and, what are you doing? There's too much advanced machinery. You can't expose her. Civilians can't know about time travel. Well, she didn't until he opened his mouth. He realizes it. Oh, okay, my bad. That's on me. Perfect moment. Call back to some of our World of Darkness gaming that our group did in the past, where I played a vampire hunter. I didn't play a vampire, I played a vampire hunter who was learning about the vampire world. And there was a couple of vampires who were friendly and were not going to kill him, but we're trying to get rid of him. It's like, go away. And they kept accidentally spilling the beans on different things, and he would write it all down in his notebook and such. And it was, maybe that's why I liked that moment so much. It just felt like one of those moments. Anyway, they do manage to rescue Zari. She tricks them, however, says her brother's being held captive in this prison for metahumans, and she needs their help in getting him out. And if they will help her do that, then she'll help them by being bait to track down, Water Woman, bad guy. Turns out she was lying. Her brother's not there. He'd been killed sometime before in order, just because he was targeted as a metahuman. Their definition, by the way, Argus's definition of metahuman at this point is kind of loose because they even target the legends. There's 4 of them standing there and say, metahuman activity, you're all stand down. Only one of them technically is a metahuman. The others might be superheroes. They're definitely legends, but 3 of them are completely normal. They might have cool weapons or armor, but they're normal people. Only Nate actually is a metahuman. Same thing with Zari's brother. As far as we know, he wasn't, but he had the amulet and so on. But now Argus has the amulet locked up, and she wants that back, so she tricks them, and they go in, release all the prisoners. She manages to get the amulet. They all kind of escape together, except she flies off, activates the amulet and flies off her own. Ray follows her to protect her and try to bring her back, while the others go and going to try to get back to the Wave Rider. Because meanwhile, the scientific studies to figure out what's going on with the totem are not working. They finally agree that, okay, it's mystical. Fine, it's mystical. They decide to take some tea concoction drug thing that is popular, I guess, in her country, to go on a spirit journey. And Nate, to make sure he got it right, decides he'll taste it first to make sure it's not poison. So that's sweet. He's making sure that he's not going to poison Amaya. And then the two of them both drink it, and she goes on her spirit journey and discovers that she just needs to embrace the totem. It's not really getting out of control. It can grow more powerful based on the threat she's going to face. Being mystical, it knows she's going to face more, so it becomes more powerful. And as it became more powerful, she's getting afraid of it and fighting it. She needs to embrace it, and it'll be fine. Also, find the girl and protect her. You assume they mean Zari and such, because when Zari activated the Isis amulet, it also caused Amaya's totem to glow, so they're connected somehow. That works. That's cool for the story. Nate, however, is a great comic relief in that, he doesn't come down off of the stuff quite as fast as Amaya does. And he gets to just act silly and fun for the rest of the episode, just about. And that was cool. I would say, whereas the first episode I loved and was very funny, it got us back into the story. And the second episode was really good, but didn't come across as funny. But I said it might be because the episode of The Flash that was before was very funny. This week I didn't watch it back-to-back with Flash, which would have been okay, because even though Flash was great, it's probably one of the better episodes of The Flash, it was not as laugh-out-loud funny as the previous week. So it probably would have been okay, but I didn't watch it back-to-back with that. We watched it on a separate night. And this was a better, more balanced episode of Legends, too. So, overall, I think this is the best episode of Legends for the season. We had fun. Will they go back to fixing 2042 at some point? I don't know. We'll see. Zari, though, is going to end up traveling with them. Amaya is going to stick with them. So, their crew is growing a little bit, which is good because we know the professor is not long for the ship. I'm hoping they don't kill him off. I'm hoping they don't do anything weird. Make it so that he can always come back. But the actor Victor Garber is taking a role on Broadway, so he's got to leave the show for a while. Could be for a long while, because the show is one that's been running for years, and his role on it could run for years. So we don't know, Hopefully he gets to come back occasionally, has some room in his schedule to come back and do some one-shots at least. I don't know. We'll see how they do it, and how they work the Firestorm connection and all that kind of stuff. Because you assume Jax is not going to leave at the same time, but they've shown how they have to be near each other, or there's a problem. Merge every so often. So are they going to transfer that to someone else? Are they going to find Ronnie? That'd be kind of cool if they found Ronnie Raymond, brought him back, and had Jax and Ronnie be the main two. In fact, they could alternate who is in control and who is in mental, in there mentally. That would be kind of a neat take on it. Go back and forth. I mean, they've done variations like that in the comics, so it would work. We'll see. Anyway, so that's where we stand on Legends. Best episode of the season. Best episode of all four of the series so far, other than It's Tough to Watch Arrow for the week. But as of the time it aired, best episode of all four of the series. Love it. I think Legends is where they finally, with season 2 of it, and they're continuing with season 3, it's where they finally figured out, the formula, and it just works. I love Legends. I will not stop praising it. Best show on television right now, in my opinion. So, with that being said, and the fact that I'm about to pull into the parking garage, ending my Rush Hour drive, so that should end our Rush Hour episode. This is John Paul from the Old Titans and DC Comics Rush Hour, saying, long live the Legion!